Welcome to episode 48 of the Unstoppable Podcast. My name is Dan J. Gregory, and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable Podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes, and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact, and live an extraordinary life? Welcome to episode 48 of the Unstoppable Podcast. I am back for another Monday solo round. Last Monday, I shared the winning principles for success that I learned from studying the Welsh football team after their phenomenal performance in the European Football Championships this summer. And on Thursday, I shared the fourth and final part of the Mega Business Series with Ben Simpkin, who's an absolute business growth genius, having been responsible for close to $1.5 billion in increased sales for his clients. Ben discussed some of the exact growth principles that have created such significant levels of success for his clients, and he gave the lowdown on how to use Facebook advertising successfully in your business to attract new clients and grow your profits. Today, I have an extremely powerful session for you. Have you ever been frustrated with yourself for not achieving a certain result, or perhaps you felt disappointed because you did not follow through on something that you know would have given you great results? Most people have an area of life where they stand in their own way and thereby themselves prevent themselves from getting what they really want. Now, last week I spent 2 entire days in self-coaching mode preparing for the second half of the year, and I went extremely deep to understand where I'm winning, where I'm failing, and what is holding me back from achieving my highest goals and dreams. There are a lot of areas that are going reasonably well, but there's also a lot of room for growth across the board. And in some of the major areas, I am currently failing. And up until now, I've been avoiding the brutal truth. It was time to face reality. And last week, I got well beneath the surface to confront the truth and find out why I'm holding myself back in certain areas. I put myself through what could be the most powerful process that I've ever experienced. And I came out the other side with many life-changing breakthroughs. And I'm confident these breakthroughs will radically transform my business and my life over the coming days, weeks, and months, if not years. So in today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through a very powerful part of this breakthrough process. So get ready to participate and take some notes. This episode could change your life. Now, before we jump into this process, I'm going to begin, as always, with a quote of the week and give you a quick overview of my top takeaways from last week's interview in the debrief segment following my interview of Ben Simpkin last week. So let's kick off, as always, with the quote of the week. Here goes. Most people fail not because of a lack of desire, but because of a lack of commitment. Vince Lombardi. Now, this quote is highly relevant to today's show, as you'll see later on as we jump into the Unstoppable Insight section. But to kick off next, we're going to go into the debrief following my interview of Ben Simpkin. Now, I was absolutely blown away by Ben's business mind. I've personally listened to the episode 3 times since recording it, and I've taken many, many lessons. But today, I'm just going to share my top 4 takeaways before jumping into today's core content. So number 1, Ben shared the highest and best use theory. And this means to get the highest and best use out of whatever asset you have. And Ben gave the example of a 3-bed cottage that could have been inherited, for example, on the Las Vegas Strip between 2 massive hotels. So imagine that. You've got this old rickety cottage in between 2 huge hotels that someone's just owned for a long period of time. Now, if you were to put it on the market as it stands, it could be worth, for example, $200,000. However, the highest and best use is not a $200,000 real estate deal. It would be to build a casino which would become worth $400 to $500 million. So you can see the best use is not as the property, but as an alternative asset. However, as an entrepreneur, the only real thing, the real asset we have ourselves is our own time. So Ben asked loads of really powerful questions. Am I doing something that could be delegated? Am I selling the right product or service? Could I be selling my product or service at a higher profit margin? Am I using the right business model? Could I be serving my clients a lot better, more holistically? Now, the real lesson I learned is to drill down on everything that I'm doing right now and ask myself, is what I'm doing right now the highest and best use of my time? And to ask this question every single day. If you've been listening to the Monday Solo Round over the past couple of weeks, you'll know that this is a major focus for me. I'm really wanting to strip the fat out of my business and focus on my zone of genius and outsource the rest, or to use Jody Jellis's term, ADD, to automate, delegate, and delete. I encourage you to do the same. That powerful question, is what I'm doing right now the highest and best use of my time? Number 2 is to never take no for an answer. Now, there's a caveat here. So Ben said, if you knew that your client would benefit greatly, their life would change by attending your workshop or your event or buying your product or service, and it was going to have such level of impact, then you should never take no for an answer. And do you know what? There's been times in my life where I've been in a position where I could greatly influence someone's life or business, and I've allowed my own fears, my own limitations to stand in the way of helping that individual because I didn't want to ask that extra question, to ask for the business, to send them to the event, to ask for the ticket sale. And that's something that I really took from Ben, and it really struck me. If you know in your heart that your products and services are going to create life-changing impact for your potential clients, then you should never take no for an answer. You should do everything in your power to help convince and compel the potential buyer that what you have is right for them. If you know in your heart that it is right for them, then never feel any sense of guilt for going the extra mile to influence your prospect to take action and become a client. Number 3, the 2-second rule. This is in reference to advertising, specifically Facebook advertising. And what Ben said is this ad speaking to me, my problems, and my goals? If it is, then I'll click on it. And the same is for our prospects. Is this specific ad destined for that one individual as a person, not as a group, based upon their specific circumstances? And I really need to take my own advice on this. When I work with clients, I always help them to identify their customer avatar, all those unique facets that make up that individual, and then help them to target and tailor a message that reaches that unique individual. And recently in my adverts, I haven't been as clear and targeted as I could be. So this 2-second rule really hit home. It's all about clarifying that problem and really making the messaging stand out to that unique individual so that they have the opportunity to take upon a unique solution that comes across as unique to them and their specific circumstances. The final one, number 4, never give up. Ben's do or die mentality was evident. He spoke about how when he worked with one of his first ever clients, that he invested $20,000 of his client's money and they didn't get the result they wanted. So he took out a further $20,000 of his own money to keep on going without giving up to get the result. And you know what? He got there. He created dramatically powerful results for his client. He took the risk. He was not willing to give up. And going forward from there, he took the lessons from his challenges and applied those lessons throughout his life. The key is to be willing to try and to never give up until it pays off. Now, this is a great note to move into our next section, our core content today, the Unstoppable Insight section of the show. And today I'm going to be asking you, what are you committed to? I spoke at the beginning of today's episode about a breakthrough process that I put myself through last week where I made some profound distinctions. And I'm going to kick off today now with a bold statement. What I'm about to say may come as a bitter pill for some of you, but what I have come to realize is that the exact results you're currently experiencing are the exact results that you are currently committed to. Let me say that again. The exact results you are currently experiencing are the exact results you are currently committed to. Whether you are conscious of it or not, you are always creating precisely what you are most committed to. If your life is not a reflection of what you say you want, it means that there is something else that you are unconsciously more committed to having or experiencing than what you claim to want or desire. The exact outer results you're experiencing in your life and business are a direct reflection of your deepest internal commitments, known as your unconscious commitments. Now, this is a concept that's first made aware of by Marcy Locke in episode 35. Most of us think that what we're going after is what we want in the world. Most of us think what we want, we say we want, is what we want. But when our lives do not reflect what we say we want, it's because there are a set of unconscious commitments that are driving us below the surface. I know, I can hear you arguing back. You say you're not committed to being poor, you're not committed to being overweight, you're not committed to being single, etc., etc. You don't want those things. I know you don't. So why are you experiencing those things? You set a goal to do X, and you set a goal to have Y. Yet you're consistently doing things that either keep you right where you are, or things that actually take you in the entirely opposite direction from your goals. Let's say, for example, you wanted to leave your corporate job behind and create your own online business. You might start doing research, making plans, but when you find yourself standing still and failing to take the required action, then here's some radical honesty. Your lack of results are what you are committed to. You're making unconscious commitments to stay exactly where you are. If you are truly committed to the results that you supposedly want, then you would either have them now or at least be rapidly on the way to having them. This is a lesson I learned the hard way last week. The results we have in our lives right now show us what our unconscious commitments are. It is vital to understand that the choices that we make are always in alignment with our deepest commitments. We think or tell ourselves we're committed to one thing, but deep down we're actually committed to something else. I'm not here today to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to jolt you today and help you to get what you want. You see, although we like to think that our desires are driven primarily by what we consciously choose, there is a far more powerful force at play. When you struggle and fail to create and achieve what you want, you can be certain that there's a conflicting, hidden commitment to some other result or life condition. Our unconscious commitments are primarily based upon how we perceive the world, who we believe ourselves to be, and what we believe ourselves to be capable of. Our unconscious commitments drive our thoughts, our beliefs, and more importantly, our decisions. These are the unseen forces that shape our reality. Now, these perceptions are often forged unconsciously in early age. For example, if you grew up in a challenging environment as a child, you may decide that the world is challenging unconsciously. You then become committed to this worldview and proceed to create it again and again until you consciously realize what you are doing. This becomes the script for who you are and how you live your life. In contrast, think of someone who perhaps grew up in a truly loving environment where they always felt encouraged and supported. Imagine how this person's life could be quite different to the person in the previous example. Now, as we move through life, we capture experiences which directly and indirectly influence our beliefs about ourselves and form part of our unconscious commitments. For example, the innate feelings of being unlovable or not being enough or feeling unworthy are all prime examples of deep-rooted beliefs that unconsciously shape our reality. These underlying unconscious commitments are responsible for the gap between what you say you want and what you actually experience. So how do you know what you're unconsciously committed to? It's simple. Take a look around. We can always tell exactly what we're most committed to by looking at the circumstances that are present in our lives right now. What do you have? Do you have peace, stillness, happiness, and abundance and prosperity? Or do you have chaos, confusion, overwhelm? If you see a pattern of experiencing what you do not want and it's repeated on more than one or two occasions, you can be absolutely sure that you have an unconscious commitment to whatever is actually happening in your life. For example, if life feels hectic and overwhelming, you have emails that need answering, you got all these notifications on your phone, all these things that need doing, then perhaps you're unconsciously committed to overwhelm. If you found yourself falling back into a pattern of overeating, perhaps when relationships start to struggle, are you committed to numbing your emotion with food? Initially, it can be a very uncomfortable thing to acknowledge that you may be unconsciously committed to avoiding the very thing that you say that you want. But it's the very first key to getting out of your own way. Let go of the bullshit and confront the truth. If you were committed to different results, you'd be experiencing different results. The good news is that conscious awareness is the first step to creating change. We can all overcome our unconscious commitments and unblock the flow of success in any area of our life. By clearly and honestly examining our decisions and our actions, we can discover what our deepest commitments are and uncover the inner blocks that are getting in the way of our success. This is what that 2-day self-coaching process was all about. Once we uncover our inner blocks, we're able to let go of what no longer serves us by consciously making new commitments to support the life that we want to create. Now, I'm about to share the steps that I went through to uncover my unconscious commitments and make some new decisions about how I'm committed to experiencing life. I encourage you to think about your own life and the areas where you may have unconscious commitments that stop you achieving the results that you want as we go through these steps. To make a change, the first thing you have to do is to take responsibility. This means firstly, having the radical self-honesty to accept that the only obstacle you are facing is yourself. And second, having the conscious commitment to turn the situation around. Let's look at what you are unconsciously committed to. Step 1, let's look at what you want. First, bring to mind your most important goals and objectives, the results that you consciously desire to achieve in your life. Allow yourself to see and feel what your life would look like if you already had achieved those goals and desires. What would life be like for you? How would it make you feel knowing that you'd attain those outcomes for yourself? Allow yourself to feel the feelings, having already achieved your greatest aims and objectives. Imagine how that would feel. Now own these desires as your conscious intentions. If you're struggling to identify what it is that you want the most, then it's almost certain that you are living entirely by your unconscious commitments and life is happening to you rather than by deliberate design. The first key is to truly know what you want. Let's use an example to bring this whole situation to life. Let's assume you want to create your dream business and your current goal is to earn $10,000 per month. Step 2 is to confront your current reality. Look at your actual results. Where are your results out of alignment with your goals and dreams? Identify the non-desirable recurring issues or results for each of your core objectives and goals within your life and business. And write these out to see the gap between what you want and where you want to go and what you're experiencing right now. To use our example, you could be earning less than $1,000 per month in your business and be struggling to make ends meet month to month. Step 3, identify your unconscious commitments. The next step is to confront the brutal reality. People are often so busy, so fast, and so furiously in the go mode that they do not stop and slow down enough to take a look at the real issue and keep going regardless. Despite the challenges, despite the frustrations, people just keep on going. Today, we're going to break the chains that bind us by eliminating that pattern and taking time out to look at what it is that's causing you to slow down. Let's take a look at the patterns in your life. Allow yourself to now become aware of all the thoughts, behaviors, and actions that have taken you further away from achieving your goals and your desires. What patterns does the current reality of your life reveal to you? What are the choices or decisions that you've made that are inconsistent with accomplishing your goal or fulfilling your aims and dreams? Take a deep breath and allow yourself to recognize the self-limiting thoughts and actions that have disempowered you. Notice those that have come from a place of fear or those that have been shaped by the experiences within your past. Now, as you become aware of all the thoughts, behaviors, and actions that have limited you or prevented you from accomplishing your goals, give yourself permission to take full responsibility in a way that is free from judgment and without making yourself in any way wrong. Take a moment to freely admit to yourself, yes, I made those decisions. Or yes, those are my thoughts and feelings. Or yes, I did or did not take those actions. This is about taking ownership, taking responsibility. Now that you see the pattern, it's time to find the truth. What is it really that you've been committed to? What is the unconscious commitment that has caused you to make these self-limiting decisions and think that these self-limiting thoughts? Simply ask yourself, what could I possibly be more committed to than achieving my desires? Take a deep breath and become aware of the underlying commitment that's been controlling this particular area of your life. What have you been unconsciously committed to up until now? As you get it, write it down and accept it without judgment. This is essential. If you judge yourself at your unconscious commitments to date, you're just going to reinforce the pattern of the commitment, and it will just go deeper and deeper and continue to control your life. It must be free from judgment. It is what it is. So in our example, where you failed to achieve the $10,000 per month and you're now earning less than $1,000 per month and struggling to make ends meet month to month, through this process, you realize that you're unconsciously committed to earning less than $1,000 per month because deep down you feel unworthy, and as a result, you've been playing small and you've failed to take the action necessary to create your dream business and earn the 10K that you think that you want. Your unconscious commitment is to being poor, feeling unworthy, and playing small, and this is what's holding you back. Being able to go below the surface to deeper understand your unconscious commitment is the next key to change. And we're going to start by identifying everything that you have gained by living with these unconscious commitments. Step 4 is to identify the payoffs that you're getting from living these unconscious commitments. What's all the pleasure you're gaining? And in most cases, you'll find that there have been many payoffs that resulted in you keeping your unconscious commitments. What are all the things that your unconscious commitments have provided you with? Ask yourself, what is everything that I gain from keeping this unconscious commitment going? Using our example, by playing small, you've kept yourself safe from taking excess risks. You've avoided criticism or rejection by failing to put yourself out there. You've got less responsibility than you would have if you had the $10,000 per month business. It's important to understand the payoff because now you can begin to see why you've continued to experience the results that you have. However, we're going to create change by overpowering these perceived payoffs with the pain that these limiting patterns have caused. Step 5 is to understand what is the pain that your unconscious commitments are creating in your life. Think of all the ways that these unconscious commitments have held you back and how you feel about that. What have you missed out on because of these limiting patterns? What are you missing out on right now? What will you miss out on in the future because of these unconscious commitments? What freedoms are you sacrificing? What is it costing you to live by these unconscious commitments? What has this cost you emotionally, financially, physically? What relationships have you lost or missed out on because of these unconscious commitments? What are you tolerating in your life because of these unconscious commitments? Write down all the pain. How does living with these unconscious commitments make you feel? Using our example, you're missing out on creating the impact that you want. You feel ashamed that you're struggling financially. You've missed out on the holidays you want to go on. You've had to avoid social occasions because you can't afford it. Your unconscious commitments have cost you your self-esteem, your confidence is low, and you're retreating deeper inside of yourself because of the pain you feel. It's important to realize and acknowledge that up until now, your choices have been in alignment with your unconscious commitments. And whilst these underlying commitments have held you back from your conscious desires, the reality is that you have been attaining exactly the results that you have been most committed to. It's also important to realize that by consciously shifting your commitments, you can and will create something new. It's time to decide what unconscious commitments you're ready to leave behind immediately. Number 6 is, what unconscious commitments would you like to leave behind right now? Take a deep breath and ask yourself what current unconscious commitments you now choose to give up in order to move closer to your goals. What are the specific thoughts, habits, or behaviors that are tied to this old commitment that no longer serve you in moving forward towards the fulfillment of your goals and dreams? Take time to write these down. If you don't have a pen and a pad now listening to this podcast, come back and listen to this again. Now ask yourself, what needs to happen right now that will allow me to give up these old unconscious commitments for good? What do you need that will enable you to feel ready to give up these limiting patterns? Let your intuition guide you. When the answers come, write them down. Using our example so far, to create the $10,000 per month business, you're ready to leave your scarcity mindset behind. You no longer want to play small, and you're ready to experience greater prosperity in every area of your life. As we begin to now look forward, again, it's time to number 7, redefine your commitments. What new commitments would you like to make consciously? Go back to your highest wants, desires, and goals once again. Before you set your new commitments, it's really important to get ruthlessly clear about what your ultimate outcomes look like. Be clear on exactly what you want, how you're going to get there, and the milestones required for you to reach your destination. To commit to something means blocking out other possible alternatives whilst focusing all of your attention and efforts onto your definitive objectives. When you commit, you make an important decision to burn your bridges and pursue one clear path towards your desired destination. Legendary business and leadership guru Peter Drucker said, "Unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans." Making your commitments consciously significantly narrows down the actions that you can and should be taking to achieve your goal. The plan then becomes exactly that, a restricted set of actions derived from your commitments, without which your goal is much more likely to remain a hope than a reality. It's important to plan those actions. What are you now committed to having, doing, and experiencing in your life and business? Who are you now committed to becoming? What decisions are you now committed to make that will support you in moving toward the fulfillment of your goals and dreams? Be as specific as possible so that you can vividly imagine it. Commit to the what and the why, even if you don't know the how yet. Using our example, the what could be, I'm committed to achieving $10,000 per month by creating new content every single week and creating compelling signature offers that I'll consistently market to my target audience. The why, I want to create amazing results for my clients. I want to be financially free so I can create my ultimate lifestyle and take care of those I love. Get clear on your unconscious commitments now and rewrite your conscious commitments. Draw a line under the past. Number 8, be 100% all in. Are you truly committed to achieving your goals, or are they just hopes and dreams? Without commitment, you will fail to give the path to your goal your full attention and energy. Make the decision right now to give 100% of your mental and physical energy to your commitments. Even when you feel you don't like to or you don't want to, it's time to go all in. What's the worst thing that could happen if you decided to wholeheartedly commit yourself to achieving your goals? Allow your conscious commitment to become your predominant daily thought. Accept the restrictions of choices and actions that may result from a singular concentration and pursuit of your goals with total focus. It's time to create the plan and step up and take control. Number 9, set yourself up to win. Write out who you will choose to become and what you will choose to experience and do and have over the next 30 days, the next 90 days, the next year. This powerful process will enable you to experience your new commitments in advance by seeing exactly how you want your future to unfold and play out. This is about living with your new commitments intentionally. In addition, set up a daily practice that will support you to fully give up your old unconscious commitments. What specifically do you need to do to make your new commitments part of your daily routine from now on? What kind of reminders, practice, or other structure, accountability do you need to put in place to help you let go of your previous unconscious commitments and embrace your new empowering commitments? You could compile a list of everything that you stand to gain by making these new commitments and your reasons why that you'll commit going forward. This is something you can refer to every single day. And if you find yourself losing motivation, you can tap into that power to keep you moving forward, to maintain your commitment and your resolve. Finally, step 10, anticipate the road ahead. Putting practices in place to keep you on track is one thing, but we are bombarded with potential distractions. So being able to proactively eliminate the potential obstacles and roadblocks in advance is the real key to ongoing success. To keep the focus on your commitments, it's really important to anticipate the road ahead. Number 1, what could hold you back from fully committing to your goals? Ask yourself, what would it cost you now and in the future if you fail to keep your commitments? Number 2, what are all the potential distractions that could derail you? Number 3, what are all the challenges that you could face in pursuing your goals? 4, what are the potential pitfalls that you may need to overcome? And 5, what support systems can you put in place to ensure that you remain committed? By anticipating the road ahead, you'll be able to sidestep the pitfalls, overcome the challenges, and avoid the distractions that will come your way. It's time to make your life a masterpiece. You have the pen. It's time to write a new script. Your unstoppable challenge this week is to review these 10 steps to uncover your unconscious commitments and consciously create new commitments to help you achieve the goals and the life of your dreams. Listen back over this episode again and again and go through each step meticulously to create the necessary changes. The 2 days I spent self-coaching myself last week were extremely powerful, and I'm sure this process will also have a profound impact upon you. So please come and share your story over on the blog at danjgregory.com/48, where you'll find the show notes to this episode, and connect with me on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. In addition, I'm considering reopening a limited number of free coaching sessions for my listeners. If you'd like to work on creating some of your own breakthroughs that will enable you to defy your limits, then please do drop me a line to let me know if you'd be interested in taking part. It's been a big chunk today. We've covered a lot of things. It's been a mind-blowing episode. So I'm going to sign off now with a reminder about this Thursday's episode with special guest Mandy Morris. The interview with Mandy is a total game changer, and the content that we cover on Thursday will directly help you to take today's lessons to the next level. So be sure to subscribe to the Unstoppable podcast on your chosen podcast platform and tune in again this Thursday. Until then, go out there, unleash your greatness, build your empire, make your impact, and live your ultimate life. You are unstoppable.